Luke Mullen from Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey Dana, just curious about your thoughts about Emma Johnson's play those last couple of weeks of the season, and how big of a part is he of what you want to do on offense moving forward?
Yeah, he did a nice job. Did a good job of making people miss. That first game he did a couple of routine things that turned into explosive plays, one being a touchdown, and just kept, feeding him and challenged him to really work hard on making people miss. And I thought the last two games, he did a really good job of that, making people miss and getting yards after contact, that sort of thing. So, really happy he's here. We had some long talks after the season, and I got to know him better as a person. I did that with a bunch of them, but him in particular was probably about the first one that came in, was, excited about what we did, but there was some buts, and so, we had some long talks, and I think he's a great kid, and he's going to be a special player here, and excited to coach him. Next, we'll go to Sam McEwen from Omaha World Herald.
Hey Dana, how have you adjusted just to the reality of the transfer portal of guys kind of leaving midstream here? You had a tight end leave, and now running back is in the portal too. As you have to try to build a game plan and not always know who's going to be available, what are the challenges, and how have you adjusted?
Well, everybody's dealing with it, and so, I think that's, there's been a lot of talk out there about, something needs to happen. That's above my pay grade. So, what the few kids that decided to do that, we wish them well, and you just go replace them. I mean, it's as simple as that. I tell you, the one thing that's exciting is, we just finished our ninth practice, and we haven't even got into game week yet. I mean, these have been, pretty much nine developmental practices, and this past week we started game planning, so it's kind of a mixture of both, and so, it's been fun to watch a bunch of young kids, just start developing. I haven't had this many practices and getting ready for a bowl game in probably 14 years. I think the last time I had this many practices getting ready for a game was 2011, when we played in the Orange Bowl, because it was like a January 6th game. So we just had time, and there wasn't that much recruiting. Now there's not recruiting as far as coaches leaving, going out on the road recruiting, and you play a bowl game in 10 days or something like that. That's usually what I've been used to the last 10 years, is you have like 1 week's prep. And so there's no developing. And, here, we just finished I think it's our ninth practice. I think it's our ninth practice or whatever it is, or we have our ninth one on Saturday, whatever it is. So it's been really fun to, like, figure out who these guys are, figure out who the players are that, I didn't really know who they were because they're on scout team. And, if somebody leaves, it's an opportunity for other guys to step in, you know. 23 is not playing in the bowl game, but 28 is going to go in there and he's going to play his tail off because he's had nine spectacular practices, and so I think that's how you got to look at it. You don't worry about the ones that aren't playing. You worry about the ones that are playing, and you coach them, and you try to develop them, and you put them in position to hopefully be successful. Thanks, Sam. Next, we'll go to Brian Christopherson.
Hey Dana, what's sort of your overview of the offensive line now that you've had a little time to sort of look over what you have, just the foundation there, and are there some young guys you could see maybe getting into this bowl game?
Uh, Not. I don't. We need to bring some guys in. Okay. There's three of them out there at practice right now. We visited probably five or six of them, and probably going to bring in some more. I mean, we're running out of time here this week. I mean, I know what we got scheduled for guys coming in, but there are two on campus right now. Hopefully we get them, and then we'll probably reassess it and bring in a few more, in January. So, my assessment is we had six kids that played their tail off, for the majority of the year. And Coach Raiola didn't feel, good enough yet to where you put some other guys in. I do think these 9 practices have been good for those guys, and I really haven't sat down and talked with him about that. He's as good of an O-line coach as I've been around. I trust him to get those guys ready to play and put them in position to be successful. And if he doesn't feel like they're ready, then he's not going to put them in, And so, I liked what I saw out of the guys. I thought they got better for the last 3 weeks, and I think they're eager for game week to go out there and play their best game, a week from Saturday.
Thanks, Brian. Next question will come from Matt Satil.
Hey, Coach. Wanted to see what you saw in DeKal and how adamant you were about bringing him in. Just where that comes from and what you think he can add to this program.
You pronounce it DeKeel. I don't know how to spell it, but you announce it DeKeel. He gets mad at me all the time. That's why I just call him D. But it is DeKeel. I've known him for a long, long time. Ironically enough, when I left the 2012 Pinstripe Bowl, I spent the next night in New York, and then I drove to Jersey, and I did a home visit with DeKeel, the Shorts family, his mom, his dad, his sister. Just a great family. Close friends with his family, with his dad in particular. And I mean, DeKeel's he's like another son to me. Him and my son are super close. But great player, 4-year starter, team captain. Couldn't run very fast, or he would have played in the NFL for a long time. Tough, smart, savvy. Just a guy that you want to be around. Was my player personnel guy for I think 2 years at West Virginia, and then 2 years at Houston, and he made the jump to where he was a receiver coach, great recruiter, flipped our Houston room quickly, and is now gonna have the task to get some wideouts in here that can really make a difference, and I think we'll do that here in the next week. He's an elite wide receiver coach, an elite recruiter, and he's on the right side. Rule likes him because he's a Northeast guy. Coach Rule likes him because he's a Northeast guy, but he's just very personable, and he's a hard worker, and we're excited to have him.
Next question will come from Mitch Sherman from The Athletic.
Hey, Dana. What's your vision for the tight end position moving forward, both next week and beyond, with Heinrich now playing that spot and the young guys you have, and also do you expect to have Fedoni in the available in the bowl game?
Yeah, he's had really good practices. I've been very proud of Thomas. I mean, he's treating this like it's camp. He's out there just playing his tail off every single day. Luke has been playing his ass off for the last 9 days. I mean, he has all season, but those two guys, their reps have went up, obviously because 87 is going to go do something else. But, Heinrich is transitioning and looks really good, and so he's another body. The more of those bodies we can put out there, the better. I mean, Wood 16, brings that kind of a body type. He's not really a tight end, but he's a move around H-back kind of guy. Carter Nelson is a guy that's going to grow and develop into that. So the more of those bodies we can have, the better. We're not turning this into an air raid 4 wideout program. I mean, that's not going to happen. So these tight ends are important, and there's probably 2 or 3 other ones that got a whole bunch of reps here over the last 9 practices that excite me, that are all young and going to keep getting better and better. So, Coach Satterfield's doing a great job. He's an incredible tight end guy and run game guy, to the point to where he gives me ideas and puts those guys and drills them, and it's been cool.
We'll take 2 more. Next one coming from Robin Wassett of HuskerOnline.
Hey, Dana. I know when you got here, these first few games were kind of just about making the transition as seamless as possible with terminology and trying to keep things as consistent with the guys as you could. Looking forward to the off season, how much do you plan on putting your influence just in terms of terminology and trying to make it your offense as opposed to trying to blend into what Nebraska had been doing?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't even thought about it. That you can say that's crazy. I mean, I should think about it every day. I continued to make sense of it, and so I can actually like write down the plays now. I mean, I know what the terms mean, the terminology, the sets, the motions, the specific plays. I learned more about it, which was important to me because we weren't going to do anything different going into the bowl game. So it just makes more sense to me. It's easier to call. It's easier to script. It's easier to game plan. What that looks like is between me and a bunch of meetings here and the coaches when we start. In January of trying to narrow that down to kind of see where we're at. I've always been a personnel driven guy. So whatever our best personnel is, we're going to come up with ways that make sense to everybody to get those guys in position to be able to make plays. And so the one thing I really like about this offense is it's got the ability to be able to do about anything. So it wouldn't narrow it down from a game planning perspective, but kind of what direction it takes. I'm excited for those meetings in January, February, March leading into spring ball.
Go back to Brian Christopherson for the next question.
Hey Dana, what can you say about this Boston College defense? What you've seen of them, and what challenges they're going to present you?
Yeah, they're a good football team now. I got to know Bill O'Brien when he was at the Texans down in Houston, and followed his career, and he's a dang good football coach. And then taking over for Coach Hafley, which is a defensive guy, right? And so they do a great job defensively. I mean, their front seven is experienced, old, active, deep. I mean, they play three deep and all that stuff, right? They play a lot of man coverage. Their secondary is always in the right spots. They're the turnover thing is concerning. It's why we lost the Iowa game, and so we got to make sure that we're focusing on that. They're a good football team, well coached. Got a lot of respect for what they do, and then I'm telling you, it's going to be a challenge for us defensively. We knew it would be going into the Iowa game. This is very similar because they're just stingy on defense, and we got to take care of the ball. We got to score in the red zone, and they're good on third downs too. So when third downs are there, we got to do our best. It's going to be a big challenge for our offense going against what's a great defense.
Thanks, Coach. We got one final question from Sam McEwen.
Hey Dana, I've seen Dylan Raiola progress over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and what do you like about his game? What more have you learned about him as a player, just in the bowl prep camps?
Yeah, just his intelligence, it never ceases to amaze me. I sit in those quarterback meetings, and Coach Thomas is an incredible quarterback coach and very smart, and drills them on protections and coverages, and Dylan's always got the right answer. I've never been around a freshman quarterback that has those answers. I've been around, freshmen in general that are playing at a high level, but not to the point to where they understand those questions. So I think the thing that stands out to me is just his football intelligence. You can tell, you can tell that Dad and Uncle Donnie, Dominic and Donnie were probably putting that kid in a film room and showing him a bunch of video when the kid was like 10 or whatever it was. So it's amazing, and it's been fun to kind of see that side of him, in recruiting. I think he's at like every dinner when all these kids come in to, for the transfer portal visits. I think he's there most of the time because he understands the importance of getting guys in here that can help us win. But just a team guy, great guy to be around. Obviously talented and going to continue to get better.
One more follow-up. Are you guys going to look for a running back in the transfer portal now that Dowdell has decided to move on?
No, those are questions that get answered every day. We always going to have people on the board. You never know what it's going to be. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the people are playing in bowl games and they got 5 days after the bowl games are over to be able to get into the portal. And so I think that's going to be moving forward, just an ongoing conversation of, build your list, because if something happens, you got to be able to get out there. And I think Coach Rule does a great job of that. He's honest nonstop. Just make sure we have people on the boards to where if we need guys, let's go do it. And if it makes you better, then you certainly better be able to do it.
Coach Holgorsen, thank you very much for your time.
All right. See y'all.